Do you know what is AWS SNS and how we can use it in our application? So in this video we will learn about AWS simple notification service and how it will be used in a simple C# application. So firstly, what is AWS SNS? So AWS SNS stands for Simple Notification Service. It is one of the popular and useful AWS service. And this service mainly helps you to send messages or notification to different part of your application, or also to the people through different communication channel like email, SMS, Lambda, etc. So in this video, what we will be doing is we will be creating a simple notification service, and we will also be creating a one simple console application where we will send a message to this simple notification service. And what does this simple notification service will do is it will send that message to different receiver. The receiver can be the Lambda function, email, SMS, but for this video we will be using an email address and a Lambda function. In Lambda, when the message will be sent, the message will be received by the Lambda function and it will be logged in the CloudWatch log. And similarly, we will be also sending a message to this email address where we will check if the message has been received by this email. So let's implement that. So first we will be creating a simple notification service. For that we need to log in into the AWS console. I have already logged into my AWS console, and here you can search for simple notification service. And before we create a topic, we need to understand there are two important things that we need to understand in SNS. One is a topic and another is the subscriptions. You can see the topics and subscription. So when we say topics, we can think topics as a communication channel. When you want to send a message or notification, you publish that message to that specific topic. And the subscription is like receiver who wants to receive that message. So we can create a one topic and we can create multiple subscriptions so that the same message will be sent to multiple subscribers. Now let's create a topic. Create topic, and for this one we will go with the standard, and let's give a name, and let's say my first topic. You can name anything and you can even give some description, but I will leave it as it is, and I will also leave the rest of the field. And let's create a topic. Now we have created this my first topic, and as soon as we create a topic, you can see in this tab we have this subscription. So when you create a subscription in the protocol, you can see there are lists, like you can send that topic, or whenever a message is received by the topic, it can be sent to SQS, it can be sent to the Lambda, email junction, SMS. So for this one, let's firstly use email so that I can show you how a message will be, when a message is created, is published in SNS, it will be sent to the email. So let's say we want to send email to this address and create subscriptions. And when we refresh, we should have, yeah, so you can see there is a subscription, but it says a pending confirmation, which means this email address need to verify that, then only this status will be changed from pending to approved. So let's do that. So I already logged into my email address, and you can see this email AWS notification. So when you click it, you will see that this confirmation subscription from the AWS. So when you click confirmation, you'll get this message as, okay, this email address has been successfully subscribed. So now when you go back to AWS, and if you publish any message, let's say hello Sanjay, and let's put some message. Hello Sanjay, how are you? And let's ignore the attribute and publish the message. So as I can say, the status is now confirmed, which was pending before, and let's go and check the email. So in the email, go back to inbox. We'll say hello Sanjay, and hello Sanjay, how are you? Right? So basically we have shown you how a simple message through SNS is like published from SNS into an email. Now let's do the same thing through coding. We'll be creating a simple console application in C# and we will be publishing a simple message, and let's see how a message will be published from the code through the SNS and will be sent through our email address. So let's do it. So I'll be using a rider to create a console application. So I create a new solution and I have choose this console application, and I will give a name like message sender, and I will save that solution in this path, and I'll use a .NET Core 6 language C#, and let's create. We will need to install a NuGet packages to use AWS service. So let's wait for this one to load first. Yes, okay. So what I will do is let's go to the dependency and manage NuGet package, and let's search for AWS SDK and simple notification, this one, simple notification service. So let's install this one plus install. You can do the same thing in Visual Studio, but once this package is installed, we will also install this SDK core, which we may need. So AWS SDK dot core. Okay, this one. So let's install this one also, and I'm using the latest one. So now here, if we check the packages, we have installed two packages, one for simple notification service, and this is a core AWS like package that we will need it. So to publish the message, instead of writing that in the program, I will create a new folder, and let's call it the service 6, and let's create a new class. Let's name it something like SNS service maybe. And in the services, what I will do is I will create a constructor first, and I will add one method to publish the message. So maybe I'll use async, and let's say publish message asynchronously on string message. Right. So let's first initialize the SNS service that we need. So let's say private read only imagine, and let's call it simple notification service. So if you press F12, this is actually the interface from this Amazon simple notification service, which is coming from this NuGet package that we install. So you can see the simple notification service, that the package that we installed before. So this one, right? So once we have that, we need to initialize that service. So go to new Amazon simple notification service client, right? But you can see for this one we need to pass the parameter. So the parameter is, so we need AWS credential and let's pass the region. So first what we need is a region, right? So for region what we can do is region endpoint region equal to region endpoint dot and press control dot and imagine that region endpoint, and let's use AP, but not new, sorry, endpoint dot AP southeast. So I'm using the profile where my region is AP southeast. So I can show you through this one. So I'm using this AWS toolkit, and over here I'll be using this profile my Ariana, and I'm using this region since I'm in Sydney and I'm using AP Southeast too. So that will do, but we also need credential, right? So for getting the credential we will be using this one. So the credential, no, sorry, I forget the credential profile. So using the credential profile store chain, this class, we can actually retrieve the credential. So here we need to supply the profile. So my profile that I have in AWS is my Ariana, and from here we will be extracting this credential, right? So now we have this credential and region, so we can simply pass it here, credential and region. So now we have this object simple notification service. Now using this service we can here, what we can do is, for we will be using this publish async. That is the reason why I use this async await method, because I'm aware that this service has this async method that I need to use. So that is the reason I type await, and I'm using the task with async. And here we need to pass the message. So if you go F2L, so here we can do different way, like for publish async. So but we will be going with this public request, which means we need public request object. So what we need to do is we need to again create request. This will be new publish request, right? And we need to pass the message equal to message. But the important thing here is we also need to pass the topic ARN. So as I mentioned before, with this topic ARN, we know that okay, the message should be sent to this topic so that the topic will receive the message and then send to the subscriber. And once we do that, we can pass this over here. Easy. So with writer, what we can simply refactor this one, and for topic ARN we can get that from AWS. So let's go back to AWS, and for SNS topic, my first topic, we will be using this my first topic. So ARN, this is very important, so we need to copy this one. So press copy, and let's go back to code, and let's paste the ARN over here, right? So everything looks fine. So in the console, what we need to do is we just need to create this service. So go back to program and let's say where SNS service equal to new SNS service just publish, and the message we can say any message. Let's say this is dummy message from Sanjay. Let's say Sanjay. And since this is a sync one, we need to await and let's console.read. Now let's put a debug point here and press okay, the breakpoint is it. So let's press F11 and F10, and this will be our region, Southeast Sydney. And let's pass our profile Marian, and this should give us the credential, right? And finally, passing credential and region, we will be creating this service. Cool. So let's put a debug point here as it is and press F5, and here now we have a message topic ARN, and when we now publish, okay, we don't have any error, so it should now send a message to the SNS service. So what we can do is, since we have subscribed to the email, so we will get an email from the service. So let's go back to here and let's see, this is this message. This is a dummy message from Sanjay, right? So we can again try. So let's say, let's change the message and let's try for a second time. Second message from Learn with Sanz, and this time let's just run it without debugging. And okay, it's done. So let's check the email again. Go back inbox and second message from Learn with Sanz. So you can see using the code we have successfully send a message to SNS. As I mentioned before, the SNS is just not limited to send message to the email. We can send the message to other services like a Lambda service, like a Lambda function. So as it in this diagram, we have now created this console application, and using this console application we can now send a message to this simple notification service SNS. And when the SNS service receives a message, now we are sending that message as an email to this email address. The next thing we will be doing is we will be sending the same message to the Lambda function. So if you are not sure about the Lambda function, then I would recommend you check my last video about the Lambda function, where I have discussed about what is Lambda function, what is the AWS profile, how we can deploy the Lambda function into AWS. Let's create the Lambda function now, and let's see how we can handle the SNS messages from the Lambda function. So let's do it. So for creating the Lambda function, we'll be using the Visual Studio. We can also create it by Rider, but for this one, I'll be using Visual Studio. So let's open the Visual Studio and create a new project. So for Lambda, we'll be using AWS Lambda project.core next, and let's say SNS message receiver function. You can name it anything, but for my convenience, I'm using that name. Great. And then you will get this template blueprint. I have discussed more about it in my last video, so you can check that one. But for this one, what we will do is we will be selecting related to simple notification. So this is this one. so that we don't need to write some extra code from our side. It will give you, like a template or some. It will already write some code for you. So let's wait for it to finish. Okay. So if you go to the function now, as I mentioned, this function handler, you can see this SNS event. And if you go to the dependency in the package, you will see choosing that blueprint, it's already, okay, we will need this lambda SNS event to handle that SNS event. And this core and serialization are the default one that we will have when we create a lambda function. Okay. And if we go to the function handler, you can see it's receiving all the records from the event, and for each one it's calling this method process, and within that process record, what it is doing is simply it's logging the SNS message. So in our case, we will not be writing a single code for this lambda, because we can see there is already a logger where we are logging the message. So we just need to publish this lambda function, and it will automatically handle, because from the record it will receive the message and log it. So what we need to do is we need to publish it. So before publishing, make sure that your profile name is this one. In your case, it will be your profile. So in my case, it's my profile and region, and then right click and publish to AWS, and this will now open this window, and you can give some name for lambda functions. So I would say SNS message receiver function, and go next. And let's wait. And this one is a little bit important. So in the role for the lambda, you need to add a role. So for this one, since we are writing just into the CloudWatch log, so this AWS Lambda basic education role should be good enough, and we will leave the rest of the option as it is, and let's upload. And this will now upload our Lambda function into AWS. So it will take a little bit time, so let's wait for it. Alright, so it has successfully now published. So from here also you can do some like invoking to test like if the SNS is working or not, but I will not jump into that. I will directly go into the AWS to see if that lambda function is there. Put the lambda, and okay, this has now created the lambda. And if you check log, at the moment we don't have any logs, right? Let's check it, and okay, so there is no log at this stage. So what we will be doing is we will send a message from our console application, and now what it should happen is it should now send the same message to first lambda function, which will write it into a CloudWatch log, and it will send the message to the email. So which means we are sending the same message to different applications. So let's do it. So for that, first what we need to do is, this is very important, so we need to first attach the trigger, otherwise there is no connection between the SNS and this lambda function. So in the add trigger, we will select the lambda, lambda wise, SNS, and the topic will be my first topic, add. Okay, so there is now the connection. So when there is any SNS, it will then trigger this Lambda function, right? So let's go back to our rider where we have our application here, and let's say sending message to both email and Lambda function. Now if we run this application to send this message, now we should be getting this message in Lambda as well as in email. So let's first test in the Lambda. So go back to the Lambda, go to monitor, view CloudWatch, and you can see if you check at the date and the time, you will see this was just trigger and the message is processing record sending message to both email and Lambda function. See, so the message has been received by this Lambda function. Similarly, if we check in the email, we'll be getting the same email message. So here, sorry, this is the latest one, sending message to both email and Lambda function, correct? So I hope in this video you learned something about simple notification, how we can use a simple notification to send a message to different applications, and how we can do this by console or by like the C# coding. I hope you like this video and you learned something new today. If you like this video, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe my channel. And I will see you soon in my next video. Thank you so much for your time. Bye.